The following is a production of the Lance J Radio Network and Best in the World Sports, a division of Definitive Visions Multimedia. The opinions and views expressed are strictly those of the host and do not represent the views of Lance J Radio Network.
You're listening to Jonesy and Brown.
Both you are crazy.
With Mike Jones and John Bryan.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world famous Jonesy and Brown show, starting an all new season of Jonesy and Brown. We done took the whole summer off, but your boys is back. Mike Jones is here with me today. What's going on, sir?
Oh, I'm good, man. How are you?
Mike Jones, this is the Reggie White episode of Jonesy and Brown. This is the official Reggie White episode of Jonesy and Brown, episode number 92. Good brother. 92 shows with your boys. Does it feel like you've done 92 episodes of Jonesy and Brown with me, sir?
The thing is, we've done a lot more than 92 shows.
Well, of course we've done a lot more. We're not talking the 50 plus shows of offense, defense, and discourse. The failed, agree to disagree.
So, I stopped counting a long time ago.
Well, look, man, I'm the one who has to do all the clerical work and filing and keeping tabs on what show is what. So yes,
that's true.
So show number 92 for us, man. Always good to work with you. Always good to have you back. Thank you for continuing to take my phone calls, brother. Thank you for not blocking me on any social media, to my knowledge. But
you can always mute people. You don't have to block everyone.
Did you mute? Have you muted me yet? You've muted you. You know what, man? Whatever, dude. Whatever, man. Anyway, hey, look. Week 1 in the books in the NFL season. Your Eagles are 1-0 again. Starting the season 1-0 again. We're going to talk about that.
Jalen Hurts is undefeated in every opening game as a starter.
That says a lot. The
kid wins games.
The kid will win you a game, or the kid wins games. I know you might not. He
wins games
when he's at quarterback. The team he's playing for.
If it's a big game, he can win it for you.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And that is going to be a conversation that you and I have down the road. We're going to have a conversation about quarterbacks you want on your team when it's winning time.
True, but there's a part of the conversation I kind of want to get into right now while we have a minute.
I don't know if we have a minute, sir, because we got Phillies to talk about this week. We got Phillies to talk about. We got Phillies to talk about this week, and our guest actually just popped up, man.
So let's get into the Phillies. I'm ready.
All right. So look, we are going to talk plenty of Eagles. We got plenty of time for Eagles. We got plenty of time. We'll get back. We will circle back to the Eagles conversation. But now let's talk Phillies because it's September, getting into the middle of September, which means October is coming.
Playoffs are 3 weeks away.
Playoffs are 3 weeks away, good brother. So we got to figure out how how this team will do. A lot of skepticism, a lot of people unsure about this Phillies team, what they can do, how they will play, how things will turn out. So when we talk baseball, there's a brother we like to add to the show. There's a brother we like to bring into the conversation, and that is my man Rob Knox. What's going on, good brother?
What's going on, fellas?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see y'all, man. Good to always be a part. I know we supposed to talk about Phillies. I got a Sixers shirt on, but Philly sports hard to get all.
Look, man. Sports apparel is way too expensive these days to put it away when a team is not winning. So, look, I got plenty of Sixers shirts that I still wear
here in at least 2 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, you haven't seen me wear Sixers gear in 2 years. I still have my Sixers gear. It's been put away.
No, I will probably wear.
It's a protest.
But
we're not here to talk Sixers, and I don't want to be angry today. So
there's a good chance I'll wear a Sixers shirt tomorrow. It won't be like Embiid or Max or anything. It'll probably be Iverson or somebody, but still, I could wear a Sixers shirt tomorrow, man. It's whatever's clean in the drawer. But nonetheless, let's talk Phillies, though, because we got the hunt for October, the hunt for Red October, whatever you want to call it. It is here this week. Phillies are playing the Mets. Phillies played the Mets. You know, there's a chance to lock this away.
4 games set with the Mets this week.
Currently,
as we record, Phillies are up 8 games.
8 games. So 8 games with a handful
18,
left.
18 left.
18 left, up 8 games.
I mean, remember, obviously, in 2007, the Mets were up 17. We're up 7 games with 17 left. And then obviously 1964 Phillies with the epic collapse. So, Phillies are in good shape.
Not over yet.
I take nothing for granted.
No, not over yet. But quite frankly, I'll put it to you like this, man. I don't know. Like there have been collapses. We've seen collapses. We've talked about that Eagles collapse of 2 years ago. But even then, that team still made the playoffs. So I am still not sure. Like I'm still trying to figure out my confidence level.
And I hear you. So let me put some more doubt in you real quick. With Wheeler gone,
yes.
Turner on the IR said grade 1, so hopefully it's only 2 weeks. Bohm also on the IR now. Does that make you even less confident? Nola had a decent game of the first series against the Mets. So
I put it like this. You would rather have them, especially the stretch of schedule the Phillies are playing. I said it a few weeks ago. I love the September schedule because they're playing everybody that's good, basically. They went to Milwaukee. They go to LA next week. They're playing the Mets, the Royals, and the Diamondbacks, who will probably have a winning record by the time that they play the Phillies. I loved it when we were healthy, but now that we're not, they still have some things. They have some. What's the word I'm looking for? They can still be successful and reach their first goal winning the National League East as constructed right now. Obviously, they're in a nice spot. 8 games that were 18 to go. They can do what they need to do to get through this stretch without Turner and Bohm. Long term, going through a whole month of October, I would prefer to have those two. And pitching wise, I always think it's just going to come down. If the Phillies pitching can give those 6 to 7 innings on a start, and 2 to 3 runs, that's enough, to keep them in the game and should have opportunity to beat. I just worry about the offense. I just don't know if their offense is can consistently hit elite pitching or score against elite pitching on a regular basis. Or let me say, it's hard to score against elite pitching. I get it, but like to even put pressure on them. I think that's the thing. That's the frustrating part that's been with the Phillies offense. It's just like, okay, I get the other guy is good, but you don't even put pressure on the team.
We joke about it sometimes. We talk about Phillies just never having 2 things that match. You go out and they start this series with the Mets. Aaron Nola pitches his best game in months. You get a great outing out of Aaron Nola, and yet they couldn't hit worth crap. They win 1-0, and you're satisfied. And I feel a little bit more. I feel better with Duran in the bullpen coming out.
I'm glad you said that, because as soon as you said a 1-0 game, the first thing popped in my head is Duran being on the roster. They're available for the 9th inning in those types of games. Yep. I feel a lot better about them now than even in the year they went to the World Series 3 years ago?
3 years ago.
Yeah, that year, Rob Thompson was like just using anybody to get the final 3 outs.
Yep.
Right.
Obviously, Rangers Suarez closed out the NLCS, but even last week in Milwaukee, that game was 1-0 for like the longest time, and then it made it 2-0. But it's like if they get good pitching, they're going to be okay. I think again offensively they are what they are, and right now Schwarber and Harper aren't necessarily hitting the way they're capable of, or consistently. So you got to figure if they pick it up a little bit, you figure that Phillies will begin to put some more runs on the board.
Let's stick with pitching a little bit, because yes, they lost Wheeler. Wheeler's not coming back. That's out of the picture. Sanchez has pitched better. Suarez has looked to be improved, and you got a good outing out of Nola. Was Nola good enough on Monday to change the way you think, or is the jury still out for you?
See, I'm going to go with the more consistent body of work with Aaron Nola, and I don't expect 6 innings. I don't expect 6 innings of scoreless baseball from him. That's not where he is. But I mean, I think he gives 6 innings and 2 to 3 runs or whatever the case may be. I mean, he's serviceable. He's a veteran, and I mean, his first 2 playoff starts of his career, he was really good. Since those 2 playoff starts in 2022, he's been okay. He hasn't been what you would call like a lockdown specialist. I mean, he had a chance to close out Game 6 of the 0-3 in LCS, and he didn't really pitch well. And then even the game in New York last year in the playoffs, he was okay, but you need in that situation from him, you needed more than okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fine with Nola in the starting lineup. I mean, again, postseason baseball is different from how it was when we grew up. I mean, pitching helps for sure, but now if you get 4 innings out your starter, they turn over to your bullpen. That's going to be San Diego's formula when they get to the playoffs. With that bullpen, they're going to get their starters 4 innings and get to their bullpen. And sometimes some teams are in a race to their bullpen.
Mm-hmm. No, and I get that, and I guess there are almost 2 ways to look at it. Whereas here's Aaron Nola, and this is a guy that once upon a time is not that far ago was considered the ace of this lineup, and now you're using terms like serviceable, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the reality, right?
No,
and that's the reality. Like, I'm not debating it,
because when we say, well, Aaron Nola was the ace of the staff or such, he's the ace of staff prior to Wheeler being here, which is several years at this point. And even Nola at his best, when he's been rolling, he's still been prone to have that one bad inning in a game at any point where he might give up 3 or 4 runs. So to expect Nola to come into the playoffs and pitch 1-run baseball or less night in and night out kind of feels like a tall like a leap.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. I think and I think that's honestly, I think that's the whole Philly staff. But I mean, obviously in playoff baseball, you give up 2 runs, you get beat. So again, I think it's going to come down to making pitches, and you're going to be facing some good lineups. Again, Rangers been pitching well for them, and again, I think to expect scoreless baseball from the starters is probably asking a lot. And now, mind you, they've kind of done that, 1 or 2. Even Jesus Luzardo and Nola probably like in the same boat, right? They're going to give up 2 to 3 runs, but again, if the Phillies offense isn't going to be consistent, then it doesn't matter what the pitching do. Because again, with this Phillies team, if you give up 2 to 3 runs, that should be enough to win some games.
So let's go to the other side of the baseball. Now we're talking
about
run production.
But let me make one more point before we go to the other side, because I talked about Aaron Nola and where he is now in his career. But on the flip side, on the other hand, I guess now that he is where he is the third starter. Does that make you a little more more confident in him. The fact that you're not going to him game one, you're not going to him game two. He's number 3 in this rotation. Would have been number 4 if Wheeler was still here. Does that change?
You don't know that he's number 3 right now, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, I think you need to see a couple more starts from him of that level. Again, I mean, is he going to go on the scoreless streak and not give up a run the rest of the year? Probably not. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I mean, if Nola's pitching game 3, I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm not going to have angst. I mean, obviously, the Phillies should have a plan. I mean, if a quick hook is needed, then you got pitchers behind them. But I mean, again, I think he's pitched enough baseball to know, to understand, what he could do and what he can't do. I mean, I think last year against the Mets, I think he went 5 innings or 6 innings, gave up 2 runs, I think it was, and the Phillies only scored 1 run that day. So I mean, again, if the offense isn't going to score, is going to be problematic regardless. And then every run that you give up, then you feel like you have to go out there and pitch and throw zeros and not pitch free and easy. And that's it's kind of a challenging way to be. And looking at the Dodgers, I think their rotation has started to round into shape a little bit. They get all their pieces back. But that being said, I still think I think beyond Milwaukee, I think Milwaukee has the best starting staff, and I think the Phillies are a close second behind Milwaukee. And then I think there's a drop off. I know the Dodgers have some talent. I know Shohei's been pitching now, but I'm just and the Dodgers bullpen hasn't been as locked down as they thought it was going to be.
So like I was saying, let's move over to the other side. Jones, I know you had a question.
So as I started to ask, so all right, now I lost my train of thought.
My bad. But let's talk about let's talk about swinging the bat. We touched on it a little bit earlier. Schwarber, Harper, not necessarily tearing it up at the plate right now. How confident are you in the two of them? Do they have the track record for you that they can turn it around? And also, they have been picked up a lot of times from the back half of that lineup. But now, with Turner out, with Bohm out, some people have to move up. What do you think of that lineup? Who do you think needs to step up besides Schwarber and Harper in this stretch going down the line, going into the playoffs?
Nick Castellanos, when he's in the lineup, he needs to produce. I mean, obviously he had the game-winning hit in the first game of the Mets series, but he needs to produce. I mean, he had some good at bats last night. I mean, he just got one hit to show for it. And I think the one good thing about the Phillies offensive approach since that they swept in New York it's been good. I mean, it hasn't yielded boatload of runs aside from the 19-run game, but it's been good. They've made pitchers throw a lot of pitches. They've taken their walks. They've run some deep counts. So again, I mean, these are things that we wanted to see last year, and they're not chasing. I mean, they're still chasing, but it doesn't feel like they're chasing as much as they did last year.
So with the addition of a guy like Harrison Bader and what we're currently seeing from the bottom third of the lineup, well, let me phrase it this way. How much do you think you can trust the bottom half of the lineup to give you production in the come playoff time?
I mean, I think you can trust them. I mean, Amari. I mean, again, this is assuming that Turner and Bohm are in the lineup, right? Mm-hmm. Because what happens is that the Phillies lineup becomes deep now because now March has been producing, Kepler's been producing, Bader's been producing, Stott has really been in a good groove. So I think that they had Bohm. He had Bohm batting 8th because of the struggles. I low key like Alec Bohm batting 8th, to be honest with you. Because now at the bottom of the lineup, you got somebody that's driven over like 50 RBIs already in batting number 8.
So where does that leave a guy like Nick Castellanos?
I mean, because Rob Thompson's going to continue doing what he's doing. He just got produced where he's in the lineup. I mean, clearly he's not going to play play every day. And Kepler's made it hard because Kepler's reduced. So
do you believe that relationship has gotten kind of contentious, that between Thompson and Castellanos?
It's probably not where it used to be. I don't think Castellanos was happy with coming out of the game, but I think at this point, I think Rob Thompson is going to run the best lineup out there. And you can't tell me that you're not better defensively in the outfield late in the game with Castellanos in the game.
No, I understand that. And I guess.
So yeah, no, that's all I say there on that one.
Mm-hmm. I guess trying to decipher what is media fodder, what is clickbait, and what's real. It's been played up over the last couple of weeks, kind of like an animosity between the two, and now it's coming to the point where people are openly wondering, does Castellanos have a place on this team in the future? What is your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, he has 1 year left on his contract. I know that, if the Phillies could have traded him and got some value for him, they probably would have.
Mm-hmm.
Moving forward, I don't know. I mean, he has 1 year on the contract. So, I mean, as far as I know, he has 1 year left and he'll be here next year. But you never know what can happen in the offseason. Because, I mean, the Phillies got some decisions to make on some players.
Mm-hmm.
Do you resign Schwarber? Do you resign Ranger? Do you resign JT? I don't know if you can get all three of them.
Okay, so if somehow out of some twist of fate tonight, the Philadelphia Phillies named Rob Knox the GM of the team, and you're taking a look at that lineup and you're trying to build for the future because you realize now, there's a window and that window is closing. What do you do? Like, who do you bring back? Who do you let go?
I personally would try to trade Alec Bohm and get some value.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Alec Bohm can bring you something in the trade somehow, somewhere. I definitely, I try to, if I could, try to sign go offside and try to sign a power hitter for the outfield. And maybe again, trade Castellanos, bring Andrew Crawford up next year. Put him in left field. I'm not sure if Bader's on the contract for next year or not. So yeah, I think that just the upgrades, but like of the three, in order, I would say Schwarber, Ranger, and JT.
Do you think the Phillies should ever? So it seems like they've been looking for an outfielder with some pop in his bat since Bryce Harper moved to first.
Right.
Ever think the organization would consider moving Bryce back to the outfield now that it's not really a concern to protecting his arm like when he first returned?
He said, Bryce said he's willing to go back to the outfield. Okay. Obviously, if he's able to go to the outfield and be competent out there, that would be a huge boost, right? And that free up, free up first base.
Mm-hmm. So it seems like it'd be easier to find power at first and move Bryce to the outfield,
right?
And find power in the outfield.
I agree with you 100%.
All right, so Dombrowski's got his work cut out for him, but we got to get through this postseason first.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. So scale of 1 to 10. Phillies winning the division. You're at like 11, 12, right, Rob?
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, look, they'll be all right. Rob, real quick before we let you go, let people know where they can find you and what you're working on.
Working on some women's basketball stuff. College women's basketball is around the corner, so just get prepared for like the SWAC Media Day, BAC Media Day, CA Media Day, And WBA final, WBA playoffs. I may not be on the trail this year because the games are in New York, and they may not align with my schedule. But you can find me on Twitter at KnoxRob1, on Instagram at Rob from Chester, PA.
There you go. Once again, the one and
Appreciate you
only,
guys.
the one and only Rob Knox. And make sure you check us out. Check out our segment on Lance J Radio, because we talked to Rob in depth about the WNBA playoffs. He's got a lot to say about that. So make sure you check that out, sir.
Once the WNBA playoffs are over, we could have him back on to talk more WNBA.
Yes, because we can talk. We can talk
WNBA. Hopefully by then my Angel Reese jersey will be here, and I can wear that, and I have the life size. I'm gonna have the poster right here, bro. The Angel Reese.
Okay, cool.
Right there on the wall.
Love it.
Rob, man, thank you, good brother. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was my man Rob Knox talking baseball with us. He'll definitely be back on the show in the coming weeks. Let's talk Eagles now. Let's really get into this Eagles conversation. Week 1 is in the books. Eagles beat the Dallas Cowboys 24-20. It was not the prettiest of games. Would you agree with that, Mike Jones?
That's fair. It was definitely not the prettiest of games, especially in the second half, especially after the rain delay.
Yeah. That rain delay was tough, man.
That
rain delay was tough, man. I feel sorry for people who had to, had to get up early in the morning. That was a killer right there. It was like, come on, man, what are you doing?
So I'm assuming you were smart enough to take off work the next day.
No, I was not smart enough to. Come on, man. Look.
So
man.
You were one of those people who had to be up early the next day.
Yes, I absolutely was one of them people who had to. So needless, but I was able to successfully navigate my way through work without cussing anybody out, without getting angry, without losing my temper. And honestly, a lot of that goes to the Eagles actually winning that game. The Eagles winning that game helped me along, because had the Eagles lost that game and I had to get up early and go to work the next morning, somebody might have caught, I might have had to give somebody some smoke. But nonetheless, we do have a win. This team is now 1-0. Defense allowed scores on their first 4 possessions. Yes, they held them scoreless in the second half, but they gave up scores on the first 4 possessions.
Mm-hmm.
Now the offense scored 3 straight TDs on their opening possessions.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas comes on the field first. They get the ball first, march down the field and score. Eagles get the ball back, march down the field and score. It was back and forth. That was your first half. What was more concerning to you? What stood out in your head? Were you worried about the defense? That's my question.
What stood out in my head was, A, we were right to have concerns about CB2. And B, this whole thing, including CB2, looks a whole lot better if number 98's on the field doing what he does.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. What was your initial thought when you saw, because you see first that there's a scuffle, and then they announced that Jalen Carter, number 98, is ejected from the game.
And I had no clue what happened at that point.
Yeah,
I'm like, what happened? We all were like, what's going on?
What? Wait, what? Ejected? Mm-hmm. Game hadn't even started. But then you see you saw what actually happened.
Mm-hmm. And first you see Carter spitting on Dak. That's the first thing you see.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, well, yeah, he's got to get ejected.
Yeah.
But at that point, you're like, what happened? Did he just walk up to him and spit, or like? It made no sense.
It didn't, and
so you don't know what to think.
And it's a funny scenario in the sense that there's absolutely no excuse for that.
Right.
He gets no pass. There is no excuse for that. You cannot do that. It is wrong. Clear, don't
Period.
let period. There's no argument. I am not trying to make any argument. There is no, well, it wasn't that bad, or there is no explanation. There is no excuse for it. But still, you're wondering what could have possibly happened to warrant that type of response.
You're
not
completely
that,
confused.
Yeah.
Like, this just came, like, nobody just walks up to someone and spits on them out of nowhere. What happened?
Like, there have been questions in the past. Like, the reason why Jalen Carter is a Philadelphia Eagle is because there were questions about his maturity and
his decision
making, the choices that he makes, how he chooses to handle certain situations. And for the most part, during his Philadelphia Eagle career, for the most part, he has walked a straight path.
There was the incident last year where he got suspended for a half. They say it was for being late for meetings, or okay, young player late for meetings. Let's get all right. That's not the most egregious.
It's like, and honestly, and for the most part, I think there will be a couple youthful transgressions. However, you want to see if this will be a trend, if this becomes a trend. And for the most part, through his Eagles run, Jalen Carter's been cool. He's been cool. So I feel like he was cool. He has been cool enough throughout his run with the team that makes you wonder, all right, something had to have happened. I don't know if what makes a dude just walk up and say, you know what, bruh?
My thoughts exactly. I'm wondering what's going on.
So then you see later on in the game, and I think it was probably the third quarter before they finally see that
after the rain delay.
After the rain delay. So
and I honestly feel like the rain delay gave them time
to find
second half.
Yeah.
I'm sure second half, Jalen Carter explained himself to someone like, well, I thought he spit at me or something. But whatever. They had time to go back and look at the whole tape. And after the rain delay, we got to see, like, okay, Dak spit first. Dak did not spit on him. Dak did not spit directly at him.
No,
but
not
for some
not
reason.
directly. Well, not directly at him or whatever. He made a gesture and a look that was pointed in Jalen Carter's direction. Did that warrant Jalen Carter's response? No. But however, I can see Jalen Carter feeling some sort of way about that. And I think there's a safe spot in the dialogue to say, hey, I'm not saying he was right, but I understand. He can't do that. He shouldn't do that. But I see what happened there.
But here's the thing. I don't understand.
You don't understand?
On football field, baseball field, believe it or not, sometimes even on the basketball court, players spit all the time.
Yeah.
It's not like it's an unusual occurrence to see someone spit on the field.
Yeah.
So if it's not coming directly at me while we're in a heated exchange, like, you just spit. So what?
Yeah, but I think sometimes
his reaction was completely unwarranted. I don't understand it.
I
feel like he got baited into something at best.
Now I absolutely agree with you on that.
And the only reason I say I feel like he got baited was when he started to approach Dak. The way Dak was like, "Oh, I got him now."
Yeah.
And you could see the smirk on Dak's face, like, "Oh, I got him now. He's out I'm in his head."
Yeah.
But I don't think Dak set out to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna get this guy ejected because he's a loose cannon."
Yeah.
Now, you know what I mean?
Now let me ask you this, and I'm not sure if you can answer that. You and I both have friends and associates that have played football professionally.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, like, what I don't know, because I've never been in a pro locker room, is how much access a player has to that team after they've been ejected. As in, Jalen Carter gets ejected pretty much on before the first play from scrimmage.
Right.
Do the Eagles then see Jalen Carter when they go back to the locker room for halftime? You go back to the locker room, it's halftime. You go back to the locker room, is Jalen Carter there? And how much access does Jalen Carter get to speak to the team? Does he, at least say, hey, give my side of the story, or you keep him as far away from everyone as possible?
That's going to be up to the individual coach how much they let him talk to his, if he let him speak to his team. But
like,
if he's in the locker room, like, and they go to the locker room. I was in the Eagles locker room in July.
Mm-hmm.
There's nowhere to hide them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big open room.
Yeah.
So,
I don't necessarily mean like, hey, gather around, I want to talk to you guys. I'm just saying, like, is he there? Is he that big open room? Is he there sitting at his locker? Like you could walk up to him during halftime, and be like, bro, what happened, yo?
Yeah. If he's in the locker room, yeah, unless he left the building, and I don't think he left the building.
That'd be another story. Nowadays, that could not happen without us knowing. We would have absolutely known.
Exactly. So
there would have been video, there would have been tweets or whatever.
So from what I know of the Eagles locker room setup, if they're all in the locker room, they're going to see him.
Okay. So given all of that, man gets ejected. They play the game. Pretty much changes the whole defensive strategy. The whole defensive philosophy for the game changes.
And not just the philosophy, in execution, whatever your philosophy is, Jalen Carter is a disruptor. Run or pass.
Yes.
It's hard to execute any type of offense when you have a guy in the quarterback's face right up the middle.
Yep.
Within a 2 seconds, all game long, every snap. So whether you want to run the same scheme or not, call the same plays or not, what it's going to look like when you lose a guy like Jalen Carter, it's like losing a prime Fletcher Cox, losing almost an Aaron Donald. Like when one of those you can't replace that. You can't.
He's a fact. He's definitely a fact. He's an X factor. He's somebody that you have to game plan for. And they were able to take him out of the game before the game even started. So my question to you is, how much of a factor does that make into how you view last Thursday's game? Like I said, they come down, they march down the field and score first 4 possessions.
I can't make any kind of assessment on how good this defense is without him on the field, because he's the anchor of the defense. Linebackers look good. It's possible the Eagles have the best linebacking core in the league once everyone's healthy. You get Nakobe Dean back. Jahad Campbell keeps developing. Zach Vaughn wasn't a fluke last year. He's the real thing. You might have the best linebacker room in the league. I don't know. But imagine what they look like when they have Jalen Carter in front of them.
Yeah. Imagine saying that. How many years, like this, like I said at the top of the segment, this 5 years for you and I doing the Jonesy and Brown show. Imagine we're finally at a point where we're saying, where there's a conversation to be had of how good this linebacking core is.
Right. Like, and I don't want to say it like they've had no linebackers.
No.
In 2017, they had a couple. I was a fan of Jordan Hicks's game. He was prone to injuries, but he made plays when he was on the field. Who else was Nigel Bradham? Was on that team. Keep him out the airport. He could play football.
Yeah, but you're now talking about one one really good player that you were able to pluck off another team and turn into a core piece, as well
And the rest
as
are draft picks.
the rest draft picks that you were able to find and you can now lock in and cultivate,
Including
and
one
now
first round pick. Imagine
yes.
that. First round pick.
And now you're in a position where you can now you can truly ask yourself, is this the best in the league? Imagine that.
And I do want to say this. Jahad Campbell, we were told Eagles had them top 10 on their board. I've heard the same from a lot of other people, but he fell because of injury concerns, and there was uncertainty about when he would be available to play. This kid came in, did the offseason program, did the preseason starter from day one, and it looks like he can really play.
Yeah.
Including getting in on that big turnover that was essentially the difference in the game.
All right, let's talk about the other side of the ball real quick. Let's talk about this offense. Did you have questions about this offense? What did you think about this offense?
The running game, you thought Dallas would load up. You also thought they'd been a little more productive against Dallas, especially considering how bad Dallas was against the run last year. But hey, it's a reminder every year, every team's a different entity. You can't base anything off what happened last year.
Agreed.
But B, we talked about what happened right immediately following the kickoff before the first snap with Jalen Carter. But the thing we didn't talk about was that delay in the game was happening because Van Sumeren got hurt.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be your fullback. I don't know how much the game plan called for him to be involved as a lead blocker, and then causing them to have to switch things up on the fly in the running plan. So that I'll give it a wait and see till next week when they have the time to plan without Van Sumeren, with Tank Brisbee, who can also return kicks. This is a plus. But let me ask you.
Okay.
What did you think from the passing game?
I thought that this passing game sometimes perplexes me, and not necessarily in a bad way, but I feel like these last couple of seasons, this team honestly really challenges the way you watch football, in the sense that there are things you come accustomed to when you talk about passing games, when you talk about NFL offenses, and they don't necessarily do things that way. But now that you have 2 Super Bowl trips and a Super Bowl win, how much criticism can I give them?
So here's the thing. I'm glad you said that. And I just want to throw this out there real quick, and I'm going to let you run for a second.
Okay.
When you say it challenges the way we think about NFL offenses, it's weird because it challenges the way they want us to think about NFL offenses, because of what sells tickets. But what the game has been for years and years and years and years historically, be strong on the lines, be able to beat people up. The easiest way to move the ball is to run the ball. That's been football for 60, 70 years. They sell you on the passing game.
They sell you on the passing game. You know, the passing game is what gets you
run.
on. Yeah, the passing game is what gets you on Sports Center. You know, that's what people see. That's what the highlights are. That's what they want. But it's like we didn't necessarily see Jalen Hurts flinging the ball all over the field.
Because this team could run the ball and dominate the line.
And even on Thursday, He wasn't flinging the ball down and Dallas did. Saquon didn't go off on Dallas.
But what did happen is they played a lot of man-to-man, turned their back to Jalen Hurts a lot, and he picked up his share of rushing yards too.
Yep, that's exactly, and that's just it. Where it's like, okay, how much can I really complain about how that game went? And with it being week one, and then given the facts, the other factors of this game, I feel like I am not necessarily. It's way too early to be worried. I'm not worried about it.
Way too early to be worried.
It's way too early to be worried.
But
and
I
I'm
will
not
say
even.
They left a lot to be desired.
And if anything, this team has earned a level of grace. This team has earned a level of trust. So it's like, yeah, you know what? It wasn't the prettiest of wins. There are things that can be improved on, but I am not.
So
I'm not worried that they can't. I don't think that there's necessarily a question that the problems can't be fixed.
So here's the thing: it's interesting because when they were trying to throw the ball in 2023, and Miles, I think that was with Miles Sanders last year here, I believe.
Okay.
But anyway, they were trying to throw the ball more that year. That was the year they started 10-1 and collapsed down the stretch, and there were a lot of turnovers that year.
Yeah.
Let's just call it what it was. There were a lot of turnovers, and there were a lot of people like me who said, run the ball. You have this O-line. You have a capable running back, and that was Miles Sanders before Saquon. Run the ball. Eagles history lesson real quick. 2017, Eagles won the Super Bowl. We all think about Nick Foles and his amazing run and all that, and Carson Wentz and what he was doing started the season before the injury and all that. But guess what? With LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi, they were number 3, I believe, in the league in running the ball. They were top 3 rushing offense in the league that year.
They truly had. It was a 2-headed monster. Even you could even have called it a 3-headed monster with Corey Clement.
Right, exactly. They ran the ball. 2022. Well, go back. 2021. Hurts' first year as a starter. Sirianni's first year as the head coach. They started out trying to throw the ball 35, 40 times a game. It wasn't working. That season got off to a brutal start. What was it, 2-5 or something? It wasn't good.
What year is this you're talking about?
2022.
Okay. Yep.
No, I'm sorry, 21. Hurts' first year as a starter.
So you're talking
the 9-7 season.
9-7 season. So that's Sirianni's first year.
Sirianni's first year. Hurts' first year as the starter.
Yes. Okay.
They started out, Sirianni's the offensive guy, wants to throw the ball over the place. It didn't work well. They went to running more. They went on a late season run. They made the playoffs. Playoffs weren't pretty, but they made the playoffs.
They made the playoffs, yeah.
Year 2, Shane Steichen and who was it? Was it Frank Wright?
That's the Super Bowl year. No.
Was Frank Wright? Was it Frank Wright? What was the coordinator? Who was the coordinator that year? Because Frank Wright's the one we lost to Doug. With Doug.
Was it? Wow.
Because he went to the Colts as well. Anyway,
was it Steichen? Because he got fired too, right?
Yeah, because it was Steichen because Gannon was on defense, so it was Steichen. Shane Steichen went to the Colts, but he had the second year with Hurts as the starter, and that was a very run-heavy offense. Hurts was very efficient that year when he did throw the ball.
Yep,
he was very efficient that year when he did throw the ball, but it was a run-heavy offense. They went to the Super Bowl in 22. 23, they came out trying to throw the ball more that year. They tried to do it throughout the year. That was the year we had questions about, are they playing hero ball and the turnovers in it? the 10-1 was cool, but it wasn't a real 10-1 based on how the season ended. And then guess what happened the next year? 24. They started the season, first 3 or 4 games. Kellen Moore, new offensive coordinator, wants to throw the ball around. And week 5, the bye week, the O-line comes in and says, we still have this monster O-line, and now we got Saquon behind us. You go to the running game, and you win a Super Bowl. So as much as I want to see the offensive passing game look crisper, I know where the Eagles butter their bread. Yeah. It's on the lines, and it's running the ball.
Mm. And I guess part of when I talk about like narratives, because yes, the Eagles' bread and butter is running the ball, and there's nothing wrong with that. And they've proven there's nothing wrong with that because they now have two Super Bowl trips with a win.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess coming out of Thursday's game, you hear people talking about the fact that AJ Brown had one catch, one target.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not good.
It's not.
It's not good. However, one target, one catch.
Right. He
did what he was supposed to do when he got thrown the ball that one time. However, I feel like it unnecessarily, like, people will try to use that to feed the once again the diva wide receiver narrative. Oh, there's going to be tension between the two. What's going to happen? And I feel like, just like you said, just like we talked about, you know what? This team has earned the right to fix whatever problems you may see. So yeah, you know what? This one game, he had one target, and that's not good. However, there's still 16 more games to go. Yeah, it's way too early to call it a trend.
I say that because
surprisingly
rational from you, JB.
But it's like, we talk about how we talk about the fact that this is a run first team.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Brown's first season with the Eagles, almost 1,500 yards, 4 yards shy of 1,500 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Second season with the team, 1,456.
Mm-hmm.
Last season, another 1,000-yard season, 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. So
that's on a run first team.
Yeah, that's on a run first team. So it's like, you know what? Yeah, if that should tell you that AJ Brown is going to
he's going to be a factor.
This one, nobody will try to act like that's good. Like a one target game is good. However, I've seen it enough now to know that AJ Brown's going to get he's going to get his passes. He's going to get his targets. And AJ Brown missed time last season.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I got a question though, JB.
Okay, what's up?
My question, here it is.
Okay.
Do you believe that with everything we've just talked about that we saw in this game, that this team is up for the task coming in week 2?
Yes. Yes, and let me tell you why. Ain't no way Jalen Carter going to spit on somebody 2 weeks in a row.
You sure?
I am more than comfortable.
Would you bet your 401k on that?
No, I'm not going to bet my 401k on that because I'm not a betting man. Y'all, we've had betting people on this show. And plus, I know how my life is. There's absolutely no reason to believe that Jalen Carter will come out on Sunday and spit on somebody on the other team in front of the referee. But the moment I bet on it, the moment I say, hey, you know what? I will bet everything in my 401k. That's exactly what Jalen Carter's going to do. He's going to come right out. He's going to grab a ref, bring him over to the other team, say, hey, watch this, and then spit on someone from the other team. That's exactly what Jalen Carter would do the moment I put some money on it.
Oh, man.
He would say, hey, he would grab a ref and a cameraman from from the Fox network and say, hey, I need you guys to see this. I want you to watch this. Hey, Patrick, come here. I need to tell you something.
So you're the mooch.
Yes. So, no, I don't believe that Jalen Carter is going to spit on somebody 2 weeks in a row. There's no way you go through what he had. There's no way that this person, unless everything that we have seen from Jalen Carter in this last week and a half, for not even a week and a half, from his time with the Philadelphia Eagles, tells me that he would make the same stupid mistake 2 weeks in a row. I don't believe that is going to happen. I do believe that there will be more of an attempt to get AJ Brown involved. And I think that if for some reason he is not involved, if there's going to be a reasonable explanation, maybe Saquon Barkley explodes. Maybe they really don't keep someone in the box to control Jalen Hurts. But I think that if for some reason AJ Brown does not get a whole bunch of targets, there's going to be a reason why that you and I can discuss that makes sense. It's not going to be, hey, AJ Brown got one target and I have no clue why. Or I don't believe that. And plus, on top, and I will add before you jump in, I will add that honestly, taking a look at Kansas City, they didn't look like world beaters either in week 1. And that's not
what I was about to say.
Yeah, they didn't look like world beaters either. They didn't. This isn't. I will say this. Something that really impressed me leading up to the start of this season was said by Jordan Mailata that I have loved all summer. And he came out and he sat down in a press conference and was like, we are not the defending champions.
Yeah, the whole team's been saying that garbage. You're absolutely the defending champion.
No, because yes, you got rings, and if they lose this game, well, do they got to get those rings and banners back?
No,
exactly. So they're not defending this. They're not defending Super Bowl 59. They're the Super Bowl 59 champ. They're the Super Bowl 59 champions. They will always be the Super Boll 59 champions.
All
That's
season
not
long.
Change.
All season long is every opponent going to use the Eagles as a measuring stick game and give the Eagles their best shot.
Yeah, that's that's fine. But
that's what happens when you're that's the part about being the defending champion.
But that does not change the fact that if they win this game, you give them their best. Yes, you have beaten the team that won Super Bowl 59. But Jonesy, you can't
JB,
take
listen
that from
to me, please. Please listen to me. What I'm telling you is different about being a defending champ is human nature. You will have people that say, I'm here now. Mm-hmm. And I get that's what they're trying to fight with this whole we're not the defending champs thing. Mm-hmm. The more important part of it is that the rest of the league is looking at you as the defending champ. Mm-hmm. And you now have a target. Mm-hmm. You are hunted.
Yes.
That they say what they want, they can do nothing about.
That's fine. And now listen to me. I understand that. And that doesn't change the fact that they have a goal. This is now about winning Super Bowl 60.
Understood.
And they have to have that same fire to achieve the goal that they wanted last year. Super Bowl 59 doesn't get them any closer to Super Bowl 60.
Understood.
So yes, they are getting every team's best shot. I understand that. They understand that. Nobody's taking them lightly. They know that. However, the fact of the matter is, this is now the next team on the schedule, and understand, and it's like this is a team where the veterans on this team have been in a situation before. They were the losing team in a Super Bowl and played the Super Bowl champions the very next year. How much given
and
the
they
way
won that game,
and they won that game. Did that help them? Did that help them swallow the pill of how that season ended? Is anyone look at the way that season ended and say, "Hey, at least we beat the Chiefs"?
But do you believe when the Eagles went to the Chiefs in 23, they had extra motivation because they lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl?
Ask that question again.
23, the Eagles and Chiefs played. The Eagles won that game.
Yes.
Do you believe the Eagles came into that game more motivated because of the Super Bowl loss in 22?
Maybe not. But the fact of the matter is, that's not the Super Bowl. They talk about the.
Hold on. No, because that's timeout. Because that's a disingenuous answer. Talk about maybe not, and you know it is because we've all heard Jalen Hurts himself say that Super Bowl loss changed him.
Yes, that Super Bowl loss. Yes, but this is why it's not disingenuous.
JB,
Mike, you got Mike. Understand, this is why it's not.
JB, please let me finish my sentence. So so to say that it's not a thing when we all know it's a thing, especially coming into this week with that losing team, I'm just like, come on, man, it's a thing.
But now you need to listen. I've listened to you. I let you speak. Now you need to listen. Yes, that Super Bowl changed him. However, that win in 2023 didn't bring them anything different than any other win.
I understand that.
There was no confetti. There were no rings. There were no. If you understand that, then you have to understand.
Did I ever say it brought them anything?
But you can't. But you can't sit here and call it disingenuous when you're like, hey, you know what? Yes, I understand that.
I asked you if they were more motivated coming into that game.
I understand that, but
because you're going somewhere else. I asked you if they were more motivated.
Yes,
JB, the question I asked you was, did you think the Eagles were more motivated going into the Kansas City game? And you said maybe not. I didn't ask you if it was a championship. I didn't ask you if they got confetti for it. I asked you, do you think they had extra motivation seeing Kansas City again? And you told me maybe not.
Yes, but this is what keeps this from being disingenuous. Because yes, maybe not. Because in the end, what did you accomplish other than you beat another team on your schedule? What did that win do? How did that win translate to the rest of the season?
You proved to yourself that you could beat them. That's what it did.
But they knew they could beat them before.
Beat you twice and get in your head.
So do you think that 2023 win played into the Super Bowl rematch? You beat them last season. You beat them the season before. You beat them in Arrowhead Stadium. You go to their barn and you beat them. Did that play in the 2024 at all?
Yes. And I say yes from the standpoint that Jalen Hurts beating that team now gives him a belief that he's able to beat that team. If he goes in against that team and fumbles the bag again, it starts to get in your head. Look what happens to this team every time they see Tampa Bay. Eventually it starts to get in your head. So yes, I do think it helped.
All right, I hear what you're saying. I'm going to agree to disagree. I disagree.
So you've never seen a team that just gets
I'm saying I disagree. I just flat out disagree. I hear what you're saying.
You don't believe that losing to the Chiefs multiple times. Hold on. So when you say you disagree, just to be clear, you don't believe that multiple losses to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs can start to get into a player's head.
I think Do I think multiple losses? Probably. Yes, I do. But they don't have multiple losses to the Chiefs.
That's because they won that 23 game.
But what I'm also saying is, look, you cannot. In the end, yes, you can. One aspect does not change the other, and you're trying. But
that reason is because they won the 23 game.
The reason they beat the Chiefs, the reason they beat the Chiefs, the reason they beat the Chiefs in Super Bowl, the reason they beat the Chiefs in Super Bowl 59 is because they won in 2023.
I didn't say that's the only reason. I said it helped.
No, I'm asking. That was a point of clarification, Jonesy. I'm just asking you to clarify your point.
But you know, I never said that.
I just asked you to clarify your point. That's all.
But you know, I never said.
I just asked you to. That was a point of clarification, man.
That
was a point of clarification.
Specifically, from the start, said in terms of confidence for the quarterback, I believed it helped. That was the only point I made.
And all I'm saying is, in the grand picture of things, that was still just a win. That was a win. It didn't change the result of the Super Bowl. Didn't make them any more champion. Yes, yeah, I understand. You're saying, you have acknowledged that there was no fanfare, there were no extra credit points that come with beating them in 2023. So, and I'm saying that all I'm saying that is in this game, yes, I cannot speak to what the Chiefs say. I have not listened to what the Chiefs have said coming into this game. So I don't know their mentality. Of course, there's an expectation that they're going to be extra motivated because of what happened earlier this year. Of course. But the Eagles are not the Chiefs. We're having a conversation about the Eagles.
And who are playing the Chiefs.
I get that, Mike. I get that. Well, all I'm saying, but we are having a conversation about what has been said about the Eagles. I'm saying I don't know what the Chiefs have said. I don't know. And we couldn't. Mark Donalds won't return my phone call, so I couldn't get him on the show to speak to it. But nonetheless, all I'm saying is I liked it. I believe it. The whole, hey, we're not the defending champions. Yes, okay. That was cool to me. I liked it. I want to hear more of that. Give me more. Okay. I thought it was cool.
Okay.
All right, that's all I'm saying. Fired up. Now you got me all. Now you got me all fired up, and it's only as we record this show. It's only Thursday.
I mean, I get it, and don't get me wrong. I want them to be focused on the task at hand this season. We're not in last season, but running around saying we're not the champs and all that.
Champs. They'll be Super Bowl 59 champs forever.
And believe me, I understand
it. And honestly, that's and as far like I get, and I think part of it is knowing and seeing yourself actually complete a task, saying, "Hey, you know what? I watched us beat them." Mm-hmm. That makes a statement. I understand that. I'm not dismissing the importance of them actually going out and winning a game, especially a game on the road where in a place that is known to be tough. I understand that. However, it's like you have to motivate yourself with, however you can. And the fact still remains that, no matter what happens this season, when you read the record books, Super Bowl 59 champs will be the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Nobody's arguing that point.
No,
nobody's arguing that.
When they say they're not the defending champions, it's like, look, you know what? It's not like if the Eagles lose on Sunday, they have to give the Lombardi Trophy over to the Chiefs and they walk off with it.
I hear you, and I'm not saying I don't get what they're doing. What I'm saying is, it's
you don't believe it.
It's meaningless semantics. The real issue is whether or not you're focused on the task at hand. We are the champs. We aren't the champs. We all know who the champs are. There's a banner in the building.
They're not even playing in that building. You can't even see the banner. The banner's back at home. They're KC.
JB. They played in the building. They just played in the building with the banner.
It's a nice banner too.
They got rings with wings.
And it lights up too.
Like, they know they're the champs. So I get it. But, and this is what they feel. The coach thinks keeps them focused on the task at hand.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
But the only issue to me is like, yeah, are you focused on the task at hand? The semantic stuff is like, oh, whatever works for you.
And I think there's only one way to find out how focused this team is, and that's when they put their hands in the dirt on Sunday.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, you and I, it's Thursday, and you and I need something to talk about.
Their best defensive player wasn't focused when he put his hand in the dirt.
He never put his hand in the dirt. He was focused.
He never put his hand in the dirt.
No, I'm saying he was focused in the fact that did you see the trajectory of that spit when it hit or Dak?
Oh, that's point blank range. You can't miss from that far.
Still, nonetheless, but
they weren't focused.
He wasn't focused, and
he's a big part of the team.
No, that is true. That is true.
As a collective, the whole collective wasn't focused. If he's not focused,
if you are going to put it in that context, okay, I see your point. They, as a team, because you're only as good as your best player, weren't focused. Now that I get. However,
I'm not saying all of them weren't focused, but the group,
the
collective was focused.
No, okay, all right,
a big chunk missing.
All right. Well, look, bottom line is, and there were a couple of vets brought in over the one of those vets got to make sure they walk over to Mr. Carter during the huddles, when play is dead, and say, hey, big fella, why don't you stay over here with us? Exactly. Keep your mouth closed. If you got to spit, put your head down to the ground and focus.
All that being said, though, I do expect the Eagles to win this game. Xavier Worthy injured, Rashee Rice suspended.
Yeah,
there's limited weapons available. Jalen Carter is playing. Jalen Carter's supposed to be playing. I hope he's playing. I thought he was playing.
Honestly, okay. You've now kind of hinted around this a couple of times, and do you really think that there's a possibility that for a second week in a row, this man's going to walk across the field and spit on an opposing quarterback?
Did I think there was any possibility he would do it the first time?
Did you?
No.
Okay.
No, I did not think there was any possibility.
Now that he's done it, you believe that this is a positive. How many weeks does he have to go without spitting on a quarterback for you to believe that he's gotten it out of his system? How many? There's 16 more games in this season.
So it's not that jokes aside, I don't think he's going to spit on a quarterback, but I don't know what he's going to do. At this point, you start to question, does this guy have impulse control issues? Does this guy have anger management issues? What's going on? Is he talking to somebody about it? He's due to get paid after this season. Can't jokes aside, he does have to rebuild some trust within the organization after this.
No, I understand. Well, let me ask you this: were you concerned, were you concerned before, and are you concerned more now, given what happened with Jalen Carter, with the number of vets the Eagles let walk out the door this past offseason? BG retires.
On that side of the ball,
on that side on the defensive side of the ball, I'm speaking specifically to the defense. Yes. In the sense that this is now.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying yes. I understand. I'm saying specifically yes, because BG's gone. Slay's gone. CJ was a hothead himself, but specifically Slay and BG, and even Josh Sweat to some extent. Though, CJ he was a veteran, but he was a little hot-headed himself, so him a little less for this specific part of the conversation. Not that I don't think the Eagles miss his play, but this specific leadership aspect, when and keeping Carter's emotions in check. I don't know CJ was the best guy for that part of the job. You know? But BG, Slay, those guys.
Bradbury.
Right.
Yeah. No,
that's all I was saying.
Okay. All right. Well, look, man. You over here, we over here talking. We at about 50 minutes for this segment, sir. So
we said 20 or 30.
We said, have we ever done anything in 20 to 30 minutes? It is what it is. All right, man. So you do. So we didn't get a chance to speak on it last week. So let me get your week 2 score predictions.
Oh, we're doing that again this season?
I don't know. Are we?
We stopped last season.
We did stop. We did. You know what? Yeah, forget that. No predictions this year. No prediction. You're absolutely right. We stopped that, and then they went and won a Super Bowl. So, all right, we will not do predictions until the Eagles season ends without a Super Bowl, which it will not. So there you have it. There you have it. All right, final thoughts, sir.
I just want to see a little bit slightly more focused team. It's week 1. Starters didn't play in the preseason, so we know it's going to be an adjustment period. I just want to see that growth from week to week.
All right, me too, and I believe I'm not. I'm not worried yet. I'm used to having things to worry about.
No, I'm not worried.
But I'm not worried. Not worried. Not necessarily even concerned yet. But we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. All right, we will be back next week to talk about a week 3 game with the Rams, as well as Phillies wrapping up this series with Mets and everything going on with baseball. It's a good time. Hey, you let us know what you think of this show. Hit us up Facebook, Instagram, X. As a favor to my man Mike Jones, I'm going to give Twix a rest this season. So Facebook, Instagram, X, hit us up at Jonesy and Brown or at BITW Sports. You can download this podcast at BITWsports.com. And make sure you check us out every week on the Lance J Radio Show, on HUR Voices, on Sirius XM Channel 141. That's correct? Mm-hmm. All right. It's all from memory.
I'd have stopped you if you were wrong.
All right, look, I can't get that. I can't get that wrong. That's like our opportunity, man. That's us talking to the world. And if you check us out this weekend on HUR Voices on Sirius XM channel 141, you'll hear us talk to Rob Knox about the WNBA playoffs coming up. All right, still waiting to see if I can get size 6X Angel Reese jersey, because she's my favorite player in the whole world, even though they're not going to the playoffs. And she'll be watching.
CJB, we were supposed to be getting out of here.
Nope. We're still getting out of here. You see how I dropped that? I got my hand on the mouse about to go to the end stream.
We not.
Yes, we are. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the Jonesy and Brown Show. That's Mike Jones. I'm John Brown. Yes, sir. I'm hitting the button. We out, y'all. Peace.
This podcast is a production of Best in the World Sports, a division of Definitive Visions Multimedia. To subscribe, download, and follow on social media, go to BITWsports.com. You're listening to Jonesy and Brown.